Day one here in Arizona, archery, mule deer, and Coues deer hunting, and it's been raining for pretty much the past day or 2 days straight. A lot of flooding going on and even snow up high, so a lot of these roads that I was planning on accessing this public land through are closed off from flooding or rock slides and even too much snow up high. So we're having to work a little bit harder, but late morning here on day one we did find a spot that's open and that we could access yet today. So hiked in here a little ways. We're up on top of a glassing hill here and we can see a lot of country. This stuff is so rugged, it's even rougher than I was expecting, but that's what the Coues deer like to hide in from all the research I've done. So we're really having to pick this mountainside apart and look really good. It's supposed to rain again tonight and into tomorrow morning, and then hopefully be done for the rest of the week after that. So a little bit unique having to deal with flooding and rainfall and snow here in the desert in January, but that's the conditions we're dealt, so we're just having to work with it and looking forward to a really fun hunt. Let's see what we find. See that cactus where it's sticking? We only made it about 20 minutes before the rain started, and now the wind's blowing again, but we ran into two hunters that were hunting in here the past 5 or 6 days, and they said they've seen over 40 deer one day, including multiple big bucks, and got close a couple different times but never connected. And they dropped a couple pins for me and showed me exactly where these deer have been hanging out, so that's extremely helpful information. We're headed over to this ridge line where hopefully we can spot some of these deer that they've been seeing this morning and maybe even make a play yet on day one. I'm excited. Let's go. Yeah, there's one on the right that I'm looking at now. It's still there. Okay, this one I can still see. There must be a couple. Just spotted the first deer. There's a couple down to the bottom. It's really, really windy right now, spitting rain, so the deer are out of the wind down really low right now. The two bucks or one? Yeah, the buck's the one in the back. Pretty nice buck. 8-point showed up down there, right behind a doe. Yeah, if we could pop up, or, you know, maybe even get down to the bottom, and then just kind of work down to the bottom towards them, and at least be in the game, and maybe they'll kind of walk through. There's got to be more down there we can't even see. So far we've seen 5 does and 1 definite shooter buck. Really nice 8-point with the split G3, so a 9-point. Yeah, they're all down in the bottom. It's super windy, still spitting rain, so they're down in the bottom, but they're moving around quite a bit, and there's a lot of cover down there, so I'm thinking we're going to be able to make a play. We've got about 2.5 hours, 3 hours of daylight left, and I'm not sure what the plan is, but we're going to get down there and try to at least get a stalk in for the first day. That buck just bedded down, so I think we're going to make a play and try to slip down there and at least get down in the bottom where there's more cover and try to get on him. Super excited. First stalk of the trip, day one. Let's go. Everything wants to poke you.
If you fall, it isn't the rocks, it's the cactus that are going to get you.
We just spotted 3 does up pretty high on this hillside. The buck's a little bit lower, I think, still, but we're going to have to be pretty cautious. Try not to just pick those does.
Does he have his hand down? up now. Yep. Nice parking. We're about 250 yards from the last place we saw that buck. We just had that young doe at 38 yards. Still have not seen the big buck yet. There's a doe down this way. The big buck is on that ridge. Has to be right up here on the other side of this crest. Thinking he's like probably 80 or 90 yards on the other side of that. We've got really, really good cover. The wind is blowing up this drainage. Looking good so far.
That was really close just now. I popped up over this hill. The buck and the doe went over this little hill, so I didn't know exactly where they were at, but they were somewhere down in here, and I just was going really slow and glassing and thought I was going slow enough, but one of the does just pegged me right away. She saw me pop up over, and she was about 40 yards, and the buck was right to the left of her, and she took off, and the buck took off, and another doe that was with him just took off, and they ran about 200-300 yards over top of a hill and disappeared. But super, super close. 40 yards to pretty nice Coues buck on day one. That's pretty awesome in my opinion. Would have been nice to get one down first day, but that's just how bow hunting goes, and such an awesome day regardless in this wild country. I've never hunted anything quite like this. So many deer so far. Pretty good first day of the trip. Morning of day two, we came back to the same spot we were at yesterday, this big tall glass and knob, and immediately spotted a doe and a fawn on the ridge line. There's so many trails through here. I'm sure there's more deer in here. We spooked a couple more last night walking out that we didn't even know about. So we saw 20 yesterday total, and hopes are high for today. seen 13 deer already, including 2 spike bucks. Yeah, I don't know where that buck went. Yeah, I see 2 does.
Were they up higher?
Yeah. We hiked around the edge of this rim to get better eyes on this other part of the mountain we couldn't see before, and immediately spooked up a pretty nice buck. He was half rack and one of his ears was broken off on one side, and he ran up and over the mountain, and we noticed 3 does and another buck that's with them, and they're still down here in front of us right now. Smaller buck, but I think he's a 2x2 or 3x3. After sitting up on this hilltop for a couple hours midday, we weren't seeing much. We thought everything was bedded down, so made a little loop down by the river bottom below and bumped a couple does. Got pretty close to one within 30 yards, but she was bedded pretty low and ended up seeing me and spooked out, and then came back up here for the evening, and we pretty much immediately saw 5 does on the opposite hillside here feeding in the sunlight. All right, see this tall one on the silhouette? Yeah, on the left.
Yeah.
If you look at that one and you go down to the left, there's like a really massive non-typical saguaro to the left, kind of by itself.
Oh, yeah.
He's right to the left of that.
Oh, I see.
He's the one in front now, the doe's in the back. We just spotted a really nice 8 up on top of this hill. He just bedded down with his doe. I think we're gonna try to pack up. We only have about 45 minutes of daylight left, and he's a long ways away, but we're gonna try to loop way up and around and try to come in from above and see if we can get on him before dark. We're gonna have to hustle though, because sun is just about setting behind this mountain. Light's fading fast, so Dad decided to back out and come back in the morning. We're really close to a private boundary. The fence is just not too far over the hill, so we don't want to bump this buck and push him onto private, which is probably where you'd go if we spooked him tonight. So we're going to play it safe and come back here in the morning and try to relocate him and hopefully watch him bed down tomorrow and be able to put a stalk on him. Saw 32 total on day 2, 27 does and 5 bucks. I just saw a predator chasing a deer. I think it was a bobcat. It looked like a really big bobcat or maybe a small deer, maybe both, but pretty cool to see nonetheless. I think we're up to 17 deer this morning, all does. A couple of them might have been the same, so maybe not quite that many, but seen quite a few so far. We're only about 2 hours into the day. We're going to go hike over to this other knob and get a different vantage on these hills and see if we can spot some more. Just because we're in Arizona definitely does not mean it's going to be hot out. It has been really chilly the past couple days. It's been windy, cold, raining, sleeting, even snowing a couple different times. It's been in the 40s, high 40s at the warmest it's been the past couple days, and reaching down to the low 20s at night. Wind blowing 20, 25 miles an hour, gusting over 40. So Dad and I have been wearing pretty much all the clothes we brought, including all our windproof gear. So it has been a little bit of an adventure, but that's what hunting's all about. And it's supposed to warm up just a little bit the next couple days, and wind's finally supposed to die down. So should help us out a little bit. Even though we're in the desert, definitely does not mean it's going to be hot. We just popped over this hill and immediately spotted a nice 8. Pretty sure it's the same 8 as last night. And he's working this hillside. Looks like he's just cruising. Don't see any does with him, so we're trying to get in front of him and spot him. He was heading down this hill, and we're just trying to get in front of him and cut him off. There's a rut fest going on down here. We've spotted at least 11 different does, 2 spikes, and that one really nice 8-point. He's tearing trees up, chasing does around, chasing those spikes off. We're not sure if he's on public or private. We're trying to find the fence and look on our maps to see for sure. It's a little bit hard to tell, a little bit deceiving, but we're not exactly sure if he's on the public still or if he's across the fence on private yet. He's eating that cactus.
this broken-eared buck ran over the hill and chased that doe all over the hillside in front of us. And after that, he ran down the hill, and him and the other buck postured toward each other. There's another smaller buck in there too. I think it's a spike. So there's 3 bucks all together now down in the bottom below us, about 200 yards away. There are deer all over the place. Just spotted 6 more over here to the right, which makes 43 for the day. Both of the bucks went over the hill and have been out of sight for probably an hour and a half now. We're hoping they come back on this side and work our direction come evening. We've got about an hour and a half to 2 hours of daylight left today. Unfortunately, a lot of these are just across on private land. I've never seen a deer do that. Especially Coues Deer. Probably. She doesn't want to move. We got down and kind of made a loop around and tried to find those other bucks. Saw a couple does and one of the smaller bucks, but never ended up finding either of those bigger bucks. 54 deer total for day 3. Pretty awesome day. We'll try again tomorrow. Ooh, pretty close. Yeah, it's the one on the left. Is the one that I shot at anyway. Where were those other does at?
Where that cut goes into the river bottom.
Yeah.
Come up this way.
Yeah, this buck is just up the side hill a little bit to the right. So, this means you go left.
Yes.
This means you go right.
Yeah.
Straight ahead.
Yep. And then by in which way you went.
So I should go like this.
Yeah.
Or whatever
Yeah.
direction you went.
If he took off and I don't have a stop, just or text
Or
me.
if he just walked. He might just walk somewhere too.
Text me if you
Yeah, you should have service down there. This buck is bedded in a perfect spot to stalk. He's right on top, and Dad should easily be able to get to the ridgeline, which would be to his left or behind him. It looks like it's like 15 or 20 yards from here anyway. He's bedded underneath those trees, and the wind up here is perfect, so as long as the wind's doing the same down there as it is up here, he should have a perfect wind. Really good access behind this buck, and there's a lot of cover. It it looks like. It also doesn't look quite as rocky down there as it does up here, so got high hopes for this one. Second stalk of the trip. Dad's on this one, and I'm going to be able to guide him in from up here with the hand signals and maybe a text message or two if we need to. And hopefully he gets a chance at this buck. It's pretty exciting. Day 4, stalk number 2.
He's creeping in closer. He's got to be like 150 yards from that buck. Still in a really good position. It looks like he has enough elevation to get close. It looks like he's got to be within 70 yards now. He just took his pack off. Man, he had to be right there. It looked really close. From here, it looked like he had to be within 30 or 40 yards. We'll see what he says when he gets back, but pretty close call there. How close?
What?
How close was that?
The 27. He snorted when he blew out of there.
Yeah. Did you see him or at all? Yeah.
I knew he was there, but there was a organ pipe cactus in front of me that I couldn't shoot around, and I either had to go left or right, and if I went either way, he was going to see me. How long was his head up when he heard me walking?
Not very long.
Okay.
He was kind of looking, and then he stood up, and then he stood up for about 10 seconds, and then 20 seconds.
He saw me then if he stood up,
Yeah.
because I was trying to weave through there.
That's 27?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
It was from that cactus over to the plant. It was 17 is what I ranged it at. So you were right on the money.
So that big cactus was like 20 or 17?
A little past. I was a little past that cactus. So yeah. And then I was about 10 yards behind it when it blew out of there.
How was the wind? Fine.
Great.
Yeah.
We just need something on our feet to be silent.
Yeah.
That was really good stalking. As far as gravel wise.
Yeah.
Or rock, but yeah, you see that on the right. There's that, or towards the bush. There's that organ pipe cactus.
Yeah.
That was.
I saw the one you were behind.
And then behind there was a lot of there's bushes like that. One bush like that, or two of them, and then the prickly pear cactus were there too. But I could never see him. I was too low. I knew he could look through that brush and see me.
So he saw your head probably after he heard walking or whatever?
Because I went, do you see me go around that? I tried to get around that.
Yeah, you went right, and then you came back left.
Yeah, because it wouldn't, I couldn't get a shot.
Too thick.
I guess I could have crawled up there, but he would have seen me anyway if he was standing up.
Yeah. I think he probably heard something. Was it quiet down there or breezy?
There was somewhat of a breeze, but not like this.
Yeah.
He heard the footsteps.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Where'd he go?
Down here in the bottom.
Oh.
He blew, and then he's somewhere down in the bottom. I don't know where he went.
Or did he go up that way?
He might have. There's a couple does bedded over here, and I never, they're still there. They never blew out of there, so. Yeah, he just went down in the bottom, and I lost him, so.
I knew I was really close, but it just, vegetation stopped.
Yeah, it was about perfect.
Six of them down lower now. One down low, 8, 9. I'm up to 13 of them.
13 javelina down in this bottom below us. It's the first ones we've seen on the trip. Pretty cool. "37 Coues Deer and 13 javelina. Another spectacular day." We've seen 15 deer this morning so far, including 2 pretty solid bucks. It's hard to get on them sometimes during the rut because they're just running all over this one buck we watched down in this one bottom. We looped around and tried to kind of get in front of him a little bit, but he was already way out in front of us and down in the river bottom below. They're just like whitetails back home. They're just cruising all over the place and checking for does, looking for does, so it makes it a little bit tough when they won't stop moving. I can just get within 80 yards or something, they might kind of walk towards me or chase towards me or something, if it's not a really good spot to get on them if they bed down. But
I'd be worried about that doe.
oh yeah, yep. Okay. We just spotted this broken ear buck and I'm going in for a stalk. He's with 3 does and he's been really aggressive. He just chased off a spike a little bit ago, so I might get the chance to use the decoy if I can't get close enough with the stalk. But last I saw him, he's bedded down, kind of facing this direction, but the winds are really good. I've got a cut that I can work right down towards him, and I should be able to get within 100 yards easily, but it's the last distance that's really going to count, trying to get close in this rocky terrain. I'm excited. Let's go.
There he is right there. He's bedded down at 74 yards. He has no idea I'm here. Wind's looking good for the most part. He's about 60 yards now. Man, so close, 60 yards away. And I was just waiting for him to stand up, give me a shot. I had no shot, super thick cactus in there. And Dad's up above on the hill behind me. He said something spooked him and they ran to the east. So I'm pretty sure it was my wind. I don't know for sure, but it kind of felt like my wind was swirling just a little bit and some of the does might have caught me, but man, that was close. I don't know where they're at now. It's the third time we've been in bow range of a Coues buck though. That's pretty good in my opinion.
Dad and I split up for the afternoon hunt. He's going down to the river bottom below and just gonna still hunt for the next couple hours. And I'm gonna continue to work up high and just glass from above and spot and stalk that way. Been glassing up on this hillside for a couple hours after that last stalk, and I finally found another buck. Little, really small 4x4, but really nice looking deer. He's across from me in the shadows over there, but he's working his way up and the wind's kind of coming up too, so it'd actually be a really good win if I can slip around and try to get in front of him. There is a doe quite a ways in front of him that I'm gonna have to get past without spooking, but maybe that buck will just work up towards me. It's gonna be tough to see once I get over there, but I've only got a couple hours of daylight, so I'm gonna go for it. He's still coming this way. Getting in front of him, wind's pretty good. Gotta loop way down this steep stuff and up and around so he doesn't see me. Oh man, that doe busted me. I don't know if she heard me or smelled me or what, but the wind's swirling down here, which is exactly why these deer are over here. And I think this doe was just right down below me, probably 70, 80 yards, something like that. And that buck was probably 100 or so in front of me. They were coming this way, but it is so loud and wind's bad, so they ran over the hill. Another close call though. Man, it's tough. Dead silent over here on this side of the hill. I'm up on another glassing knob and I've seen a bunch of does so far and one 4x4 buck. Pretty solid deer. He's just over here a couple hundred yards next to a doe. They're both working my direction and the wind's coming right at me, so it should be pretty good. At least up here it is. Hopefully the wind down in the bottom's really good too. But I think I'm gonna go for it. Got about an hour and a half of daylight left. Let's see if we can get it done. Well, that didn't work so well. I think the giant rack on my whitetail decoy is a little bit intimidating. Well, that's a wrap for this Arizona trip. We ended up seeing 62 deer today and a lot of deer over the past 5 days, at least 40 or 50 every single day for the most part, including a couple really nice bucks that we got some awesome footage of and had some close calls with. Overall, we saw more deer than I was expecting, and I think 8 or 9 different bucks, which was pretty neat. We got on 5 different stalks and got in bow range 3 different times, including Dad the other day at 27 yards, which is super close to a Coues buck. So pretty big accomplishment. Even though we didn't get one down, it was still a really awesome trip. If you haven't already, check out our elk hunt from this past year in Wyoming. Got a really nice bull and had a great trip out there as well. If you like this video, it'd really help us out if you shared it with a friend, commented down below, gave it a like, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.